Dear students, welcome to my YouTube channel. This video focuses on the types of entrepreneurs, distinction between an entrepreneur and a manager, and the problems of entrepreneurs. Kindly watch the video till the end, like it, share among your friends, and subscribe the channel. If you have any comments, put your comments in the comment box. Now, let us move to the presentation. So the entrepreneurs are classified on a 5 basis here. One is the types of business, use of technology, then ownership, size of business, and others. So now let us discuss in detail the entrepreneurs on the basis of types of business. Here we have got 3 types of entrepreneurs, that is trading entrepreneur, manufacturing entrepreneur, agripreneur or agricultural entrepreneur. So in case of the trading entrepreneur, he is the one who buys finished goods and sells to the customer. That means here this type of entrepreneur bridges the gap between the manufacturer and the end user, that is the ultimate customer. So they act as a connecting link between the manufacturer or the producer of the goods and the user, that is the consumers here. So normally these type of entrepreneurs, they are always engaged in buying and selling of the goods in order to earn profit. Then the next one comes here, manufacturing entrepreneur. He is the one who converts the raw materials into finished goods. Such person is called as manufacturing entrepreneur. Such an entrepreneur identifies the needs of customers, explores the resources and the technology to be used in the manufacturing of the products to satisfy the needs of various customers. Take for example, now in this pandemic, you have got ample of products in order to protect from the COVID-19. Maybe in terms of mask, or it may be, say for example, the manufacturing of the sanitizer or the face shield, so which is manufactured now. So looking into the marketing, they are going to manufacture the products. So a manufacturing entrepreneur ascertains the needs of the various customers. So based on that, he goes for manufacturing. Even you take for example, today the oximeter plays a vital role in checking the pulses of the people. So that's why, looking into the needs of the customers, a manufacturer takes decision to manufacture the goods. The next one comes here, agripreneur. An agripreneur is the one who undertakes the agricultural activities. Such an entrepreneur is called as agripreneur. So such an entrepreneur may be involved in the cultivation of the land, or he may perform such functions which will help in the marketing of the agriculture produces. Say for example, a person may indulge himself in those things which will be helpful in carrying out the activities of agriculture. Such an agripreneur may be concerned with the marketing of agriculture produces, then introducing the mechanization in the agriculture. So such entrepreneur is called as agripreneur or agricultural entrepreneur. Now let us see the another one here, that is use of the technology. On this basis, the entrepreneurs will be classified into 2 categories: technical entrepreneur, non-technical entrepreneur. Then technical entrepreneur, these are the entrepreneurs who make use of the science and technology in their manufacturing process. Such an entrepreneur is called as a technical entrepreneur. They use new and innovative methods of production in their enterprises. So this use of technology will enable the entrepreneur to have the scale of operations. Then comes here non-technical entrepreneurs. These are the entrepreneurs who do not make use of the science and technology in their modus operandi. So they make use of alternative and imitative methods of marketing and distribution strategies to make their business survive and thrive in the competitive market. The best example for the non-technical entrepreneur is none other than Dabbawalas, who delivers the tiffin boxes to the nook and corner of Mumbai city from their own households at the lunchtime. So they do not make use of any kind of the technology. So their name has entered even in the Guinness Books of Record. So such non-technical entrepreneurs, they never make use of any kind of the technology in their manufacturing process or in the delivery of the goods, etc. here. Such an entrepreneur is called as non-technical entrepreneur. Then the entrepreneurs will be classified on the basis of the ownership as private, state, and joint. Private entrepreneur, he is the one who as an individual establishes a business enterprise. Such an entrepreneur bears the risk of entire business here. That means here he is the ultimately sole responsible for the risk which is involved in the business. Then comes here state entrepreneur. When an enterprise is run by the state or the government, it is called as state entrepreneur. Take for example, earlier we had a telecom department, but now it is detached. Now you take the example for the state ownership, it may be like railway industries, so which is exclusively owned and managed by the railway Ministry of Railways or the government. So such an entrepreneur is called as state entrepreneur. Then the next comes here joint entrepreneur. Here, as the name itself indicates, here the joint means it is the club of the private as well as the government, which both together run the enterprise. Such an enterprise is called as joint enterprise, and they will be called as joint entrepreneurs. That means here both government as well as the private people, they join their hands to start up an enterprise. Such entrepreneurs, they're called as joint entrepreneurs. Then the next one comes here size of business. Here under this here the entrepreneurs will be classified as a small scale entrepreneur, medium scale enterprise or medium scale entrepreneur, then a larger scale. Small scale entrepreneur is the one who has made investment in a plant and machinery up to rupees 1 crore. Whereas a medium scale entrepreneur is the one who has made investment in the plant and machinery above rupees 1 crore but less than rupees 5 crores. While the large scale entrepreneur is the one who has made investment in the plant and machinery of above rupees 5 crores. Such an entrepreneur will be called as a large scale. Then the next one comes here the other types of entrepreneurs. Here we have got innovative entrepreneur. So he is the one who introduces new goods or a new method of production, discover the new market and reorganize the enterprise. For example, today you may be knowing WhatsApp, it has created its name in the social media. WhatsApp today it can be used as only a means of communication as well as for sending money. Today if you have updated the new version of WhatsApp where you can send money from one person to another person using by linking your bank account in the WhatsApp. So this is how it is innovatively delivered to the people here. Even similarly, you take the example of Amazon company, which earlier was having a mode of payment as only the cash, that is cash on delivery. Today, the customers of Amazon can pay cash on delivery or they can pay using the debit card or the credit card. even the UPI, or it may be, say for example, with the Amazon Pay. So the Amazon company is providing wide methods of payment for the goods, so which is nothing but innovatively carried out by the Amazon company. Even say for example, when the goods are, even when you are opt method of payment as a cash on delivery, when the seller comes, when courier boy comes at your doorstep, you can make the payment by using the card also. So this is how today the wide variety of methods of provided to the customers for payment. Then the next one comes here, a imitative entrepreneur. He is the one who imitates the innovations made by others. They imitate the techniques and technology. For example, Walton BD has introduced its motorbikes, refrigerators, televisions, and other electronic appliances. Today, even you find Tata also. It is there in the, say for example, the software, consumable goods, automobile, etc. here. So such type of an entrepreneur is called as imitative entrepreneur. Then the next one comes here, Fabian entrepreneur. Here Fabian entrepreneur means they are the second generation people of already having an existing business who are scared to take bold steps or risks to uplift the company. And they are adaptable to the changes. And when they feel that they have been threatened because of the situation, so then they will be resulting in the loss. In others to say, these kind of entrepreneurs, they are not ready to accept the change. These Fabian types of entrepreneurs accept the change only when they feel that there is threat to their business. For example, a Kodak company happened to be the market leaders in producing analog cameras, but they did not realize the importance of the digicam. And later on, in order to survive in the market, they started even the digicam. So they come out with the tripods. So all these things, that means they are ready to accept the change only when there is a threat to their business. So such entrepreneurs will be called as Fabian entrepreneurs. Then the next one comes here, drawn entrepreneurs. He is the one who refuses to accept, to adapt the change. When competition increases, they are pushed out of the market as it becomes uneconomical for them to carry their business further due to the financial crisis. Take for example, there are many telecommunication companies that came in the market and they went away as soon as they came. Take for example a company called as Aircel or Docomo, or say for example Idea. So all they have become today out of the market. Or even say for example the there are like products in several it is there. Even you take for example, earlier Bajaj was having the lion's share in the market in manufacturing the mopeds, but today Bajaj doesn't have any existence in the moped market. So here they failed, as they fail to accept the change, they will not survive in the market. Then the next one comes here, the distinction between an entrepreneur and a manager. So now let us discuss here. Always the motive of an entrepreneur to start a venture by setting up an enterprise. So here the purpose of an entrepreneur is always to explore the situations by establishing business and earning the profit. Whereas a manager, the main motive of the manager is to render his services in an enterprise already set up by someone. An entrepreneur is the owner, so he can take the whole and sole decision about the continuation of the business. In case of the manager, he is just an employee of an enterprise. An entrepreneur, being the owner of the enterprise, undertakes all the risks and uncertainties. So if any kind of the risk and uncertainties are there in the business, those are to be borne by the entrepreneur only. Whereas a manager does not bear any risk and uncertainty. He just acts according to the directions issued by the entrepreneur. The reward for an entrepreneur is the profit, whereas salary is the reward for manager. An entrepreneur combines all factors of production, whereas a manager is the one who deals with the day-to-day affairs of an enterprise. He looks after every day's operations and reports to the entrepreneur. An entrepreneur needs to possess qualities and qualifications like risk-bearing, originality in thinking, etc. But whereas a manager needs to possess distinct qualifications in terms of sound knowledge in management theory and practice. So what he has gained knowledge of management, that is to be implemented by a manager. But whereas an entrepreneur does not need any such qualification by the prescribed authorities here to start up an enterprise. An entrepreneur innovates ideas, whereas a manager translates those ideas of an entrepreneur into practice. An entrepreneur takes strategic decisions. He acts according to the situation, and he involves in the growth, expansion, diversification of an enterprise by takeovers and mergers. But whereas a manager takes only the decisions relating to the operational and administration, which have bearing on the short-term and medium-term results here. Then the next one comes here, intrapreneur. Of course, this is a very quite old term which was used in USA during 1970s. Usually, an intrapreneur is an entrepreneur who has started his venture after quitting a particular venture here. That means he is going to start his own business when he quits from another business. So in other words, to say, an intrapreneur gets knowledge, gets ideas working with some enterprise, and later on he is going to launch his own business. So such a person is called as intrapreneur. Gifford Pinchard who defines an intrapreneur as an entrepreneur within an already established organization. The person who is already working in some business, he is going to float his own new business. Such person is called as intrapreneur. Now let us see, is there any distinction between entrepreneur and intrapreneur? An entrepreneur is independent in his operations, whereas an intrapreneur is dependent on the entrepreneur, that is the owner here. Entrepreneur himself raises funds required for the enterprise, whereas the funds are not raised by intrapreneur. Entrepreneur follows intuitive approach, whereas intrapreneur follows restorative approach. Entrepreneur uses his own resources. That means whatever he has got, he will combine the factors of production. Whereas the intrapreneur uses the resources which are provided by the enterprise. An entrepreneur is a risk bearer, whereas the intrapreneur only goes according to the what he has have got the past knowledge here. An entrepreneur operates from outside, whereas the intrapreneur operates from inside, within the organization or inside. Now let us look into some problems faced by entrepreneurs in India here. Of course, India is having a vivid culture, traditions, customs. So an entrepreneur suffers from several problems for his growth. So traditional society. Of course, Indian society is a conservative one. It is having a lot of customs, blind beliefs, etc. Traditionally, certain jobs are not considered as good even today. Have you ever seen a woman starting selling of alcohol or hot beverages in India. It's quite impossible because the society does not permit to do such things. Due to the caste system, people hesitate to leave their traditional occupations. They are carrying out the entrepreneurial activities from years together, from generation to generation. So because of that custom of the society, they are not interested to go for a new venture. Hence, people lack business interest as also the risk-bearing capacity and constructive thinking. They all are carrying the same business which was carried by their forefathers. So they are not going to bring any kind of innovativeness. They do not ensure any kind of creativeness in carrying out the business. The next one comes here, hereditary work. Here in India, the selection of the work or the occupation and the business is not in accordance with the interest of the person or the capacity and feelings of the person who wants to continue. They are going to carry on the same business which was carried out by their forefathers. Take, for example, a goldsmith. His father, his grandfather, his forefathers, they have carried the same business. Even they do not bring any kind of the new things in the business. If you go to the, say, for example, the goldsmith shops, still people are not, the goldsmiths are not accustomed to make sale of the gold which is having hallmark. So they are, because they are continuing their traditional or what we call as the hereditary business. As a result, the entrepreneurs are not able to select the business and industry and according to their capacity and interest and motivation. Even the hereditary in the family, it will uphold their interest to start a new venture. Then comes here the lack of infrastructural facility. Infrastructural facility required for development of entrepreneurship, like the means of transportation and communication, banking facility, insurance, electricity, water, raw materials, stock market, organized product markets. So it is not still available in India. Hence, the new entrepreneurs have to face a difficulty in setting up of the industries, and the development of industries has been very slow. We have got in India the concentrated business. It is not widely spread because of the lack of infrastructure. The facilities which are available in the metros are not ensured the same facilities in the urban area. Even though the government comes with various problems, but it takes years together to provide the facilities to the entrepreneurs. Take, for example, starting up of a airport, even it will have a lot of problem. So because of this, the lack of infrastructural facilities in the country, the entrepreneurs will not come forward. Take, for example, if you go to the northeastern part of the country, very difficult to set up the industries, very difficult to start up the industries in such an area, such a locality. And because of these things here, the growth has become stagnant. The growth is very slow. Then the lack of enterprising the mentality. Here the development of entrepreneurship depends upon the nature of human resources. The quality of the human resources is not available in India. Though we have got many B schools in India, but their ideas were not at all implemented at the grassroots level. Today you do not find any person who has done BS in agriculture and carrying on the agricultural activities. Even a common man will go for starting, and none of the agriculturists, they do not make any soil test before they carry the agricultural operations. So this is the enterprising mentality is not with the people, so that's why the development is hindered here. These people do not have high aspirations for gaining achievement. We are not enthusiastic to start up a new venture. They do not take any interest in innovations. They do not bring any kind of the new thing in their business. The risk bearing capacity and ability to face contingencies of people have reduced. People lack high business and technical abilities today. Then the next one comes a lack of favorable environment. Every section of the society, like workers, consumers, investors, government, etc., has its own contribution in the operation of an industry. However, unfortunately, enthusiasm towards work lacks in our country. People are not ready to start up their own venture. Today you find people having the qualification, the management, even they will not come forward to launch their own business. They want to be the work for other companies to get a steady income. The consumers look the entrepreneurs with a sense of suspicion. Capital is always a scarce problem. Policies of the government are also not very practical. Competition is not healthy and has become cutthroat today. You take, for example, if any benefit of the government scheme that should reach to the entrepreneurs, it takes long years. You do not find any kind of congenial environment to start. You take, for example, the proposed railway from direct railway connection from Dharwad to Belgaum. It takes years together. To give one more example, say for example, the broad gauge between Bijapur and Gadag, it took around 10 years to function. So during this decade, the entire business has gone down. The development has gone down. Then the next one comes here, competition with the big industries. Of course, competition is there in every business. Business activities in India are substantially controlled by some industrial houses today. They have monopoly on the business. You take, for example, today you find many cabs. Ola, I think probably you might have heard a company called as Ola, which provides cab services as well as auto services. So when an organized company, if it starts competing with a person who is running the business on his own and in an unorganized way, then that will increase the competition. Hence, new entrepreneurs do not think of setting up of the industry due to the reason that he is not in a position to compete with these houses. As organized industries, they have got a strong capital base, whereas unorganized sector, it doesn't have any strong capital base and the quality of the human resource is very poor. So the entry of new entrepreneurs is very much limited. Then lack of education and the training facilities. Educational and training facilities related to entrepreneurship are available in India, but these have several deficiencies. These facilities have got a lot of lacunas in them. Institutions making the entrepreneurs are not adequate today. We have got only few training centers. Even they are not widely spread. Even they are located only in the metros and the urbans. There, they are not reached to the person who is actually needed. Education and training imparted in the institutions are not much of practical in respect of the entrepreneurship. Though it is taught as a subject or as a part of the curricula, but there is no any scope for inclusion of the practical things, how it can be carried. Trained trainers are also not available. They are insufficient. Then the next one comes a lack of technical structure. Professional managers, specialists and trained employees are required for efficient operation of the companies in the public sector enterprises. Due to the lack of techno structure in India, the entrepreneurs hesitate to bear the risk of large business. Even there is a problem with the resource obstacles also. Resources are not fully available. Today we are not finding the physical human resources do not become available to the entrepreneurs in time. the cost of such required resources is also very high. Say for example, to start up a business, an entrepreneur needs land, and such land is so costly even if you take in the rural area, it's very costly. So an entrepreneur cannot afford. In such case, he steps back to start up a new venture. Inadequate government facilities and incentives. Infrastructural facilities have not adequately developed in the backward areas of India. Today still, always the government speaks about the implementation of Nanjundappa report in Karnataka. Still, even after almost 70 years of independence, the policies are not implemented properly in India, and they have not reached to the right person. And there is no any scope for the startup of new venture. Of course, the government will come up with many schemes like a Startup India, Digital India, etc. People are not affordable such schemes, and even to get funds from under the government scheme, it takes several years to get the benefit. The entrepreneurs are unable to establish industries in the backward areas. There are n number of government schemes are there, but due to the bureaucracy, due to the nepotism, they are not reaching to the ultimate entrepreneurs. Thank you everyone for watching this video.